Hi, Jody here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, on my channel I talk about Broadway books and television. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving a spoiler-free review on the latest book that I have read. So in my spoiler-free reviews, I go over certain things, as always, such as what the book is about, if I've read from this author before or not, my thoughts on the book, my star rating, if this is a book I recommend reading, as well as on occasion letting you know if the book I'm reviewing has been or is going to be adapted. So without any further ado, let's get on to today's spoiler-free book review, and that would be for the book The Hike by Lucy Clarke. So The Hike is about 4 friends who get together every year and go on a trip. This year though, instead of vacationing on a tropical island, they decide to go hiking in the Norwegian mountains. The friend who picked this year's trip destination was Liz. Liz recently has been going through some personal problems. The reason for why Liz chose hiking in the Norwegian mountains as this year's trip was because she wanted to go somewhere where she could clear her head, breathe in some fresh air, and not worry about anything other than taking one step in front of her at a time out in the wilderness on an adventurous hike with her friends. Liz and her friends all arrive at the hotel in Norway where they'll be spending the night before they set off on their adventure. None of the friends, though, have ever done any kind of hiking of this magnitude before, but Liz is confident she's done the research for her and her friends to accomplish their hike without a hitch. The next day, they start their journey in the Norwegian mountains, but shortly after they do, things go on to slowly take a turn. There's a darkness to the wilderness, and soon all 4 friends feel as though they are being followed. Despite all the research that Liz did before their trip, she quickly learns that there are some things she could never have prepared for. This is the first book by Lucy Clarke that I've read, and I'm definitely excited to read more from this author. The next book by this author that I would want to read would be One of the Girls. So now for my thoughts. One of the things that I love so much about this book was the friendship aspect to the story. The 4 friends in the story are Liz, Maggie, Helena, and Joni, and they are all lifelong friends. They all met when they were in school, and despite life moving on from one year to the next as they've all gotten older, they've managed to stay really good friends over the years. Liz, Maggie, Helena, and Joni are the kind of friends who truly love, care, and nothing but the best for each other. They're supportive and want to see each other succeed. They're the kind of friends who don't back away when another friend is going through a difficult or a tough time, but instead run towards that friend to help them out in any way they can without thinking twice. I love reading about friendship in books because, for one, in all my years on planet Earth, have never managed to make one real true friend. But you know, enough about me and my lack of any kind of true friendship in my life. I love reading about friendship in books because having friends is such a special part of life. Friends can give life joy and meaning by just simply having others in your life who unconditionally love you, who want to be around you, who want to talk to you, and who truly care about you and how you're doing. True friendship is not something everyone in this life gets to experience. So in reading about friendship in books, I love it because if I can't experience what it's like for myself to have one real true friend, then at least I can read about what it's like to have one in books. I also really like the writing in the book. Lucy Clarke is a great writer. Based on what The Hike is about, you go into reading the book thinking it's going to be this high, intense mystery thriller, which in many ways this book is. But this is a mystery thriller that's written more like a literary fiction kind of mystery thriller, where the story focuses more on the 4 friends' friendship and their personal lives than the premise of the story. The writing was insightful, profound, and had depth. I also thought the characters were very well written. Since the story is written more like literary fiction, you really got to know the characters on a deep and personal level. You really got to learn who the characters are and the things that they have been through in their lives that help shape them into who they become. The characters in the book come across as very human and relatable. They are characters who try their best but sometimes fail. They aren't perfect, they have flaws, they make mistakes. All 4 friends are going through their own private internal struggles when they embark on this trip to Norway, and slowly throughout the story, secrets are revealed and friendships are tested. Like I said earlier in my review, I love the way the author wrote about friendship and how wonderful and amazing it can be to have that in one's life. Also loved how the author didn't shy away from writing about how real true friendship with friends you've been friends with your entire life can also be complicated. The friends in this story showed how nobody in this world is perfect and how easy it is to let go of someone in your life who has done you wrong. The story also showed, though, how a real true friend may find it harder to throw away all those years of friendship when unforgivable mistakes have been made, finding it in themselves to extend that grace and forgiveness where others may not. Lastly, I thought the story had a really great edge-of-your-seat-like quality to it. I wouldn't call this a fast-paced story by any means, but more of a story where you have no idea what's going to happen next. The kind of story where the twists and turns slowly appear out of nowhere, making the hairs on your arms stand up, and scaring you so much that you don't just take a step back, but a jump. Hike is a story that quickens your pulse as you're reading it, a story that has you slowly looking over your shoulder, or slowly walking with one foot in front of the other because you're not sure what's going to be around the next corner. So those are my thoughts. Now for my star rating, I really like this book a lot. Definitely one of my favorite books that I've read this year. With all that being said, my star rating for The Hike this was definitely more than a 5-star book for me. It was 6 stars. My recommendation, if you go into reading The Hike thinking it's going to be this high, intense, fast-paced mystery thriller, you're more than likely going to be disappointed. The Hike is more a literary, mystery, thriller, survival story about 4 friends who are all at crossroads in their lives. It's a story about friendship, life, and forgiveness. I would say if that's a story that sounds interesting to you, then I would highly recommend reading The Hike by Lucy Clarke. So before I end today's video, I always like to point out whenever I'm reviewing a book on my channel, if it's a book that has been or is going to be adapted. The Hike is going to be adapted into a television series. I don't have any more details than that at the moment on the adaptation, but 2 other books by Lucy Clarke, The Castaways and No Escape, have been adapted into a television series on Paramount+. So maybe that's where the adaptation of The Hike will also go. Who knows? Either way, I'm definitely looking forward to the adaptation of The Hike whenever that happens, as this is a book that I absolutely loved. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope to help you discover a new book today along the way as well. And until next time, bye.